it's Kim Brown-Jefferson here of FabFit TV. For those of you just tuning in for the first time, I help women to break free of the diet mindset so they can live a life of balance, peace, and harmony when it comes to diet and exercise. So today I'm gonna take a little left turn, but it's a good left turn. You know, sometimes we gotta have to wander a little off the path to get to where we want to be. And so today I want to talk about how do you create the life that you really want. And a lot of it has to do with our mindset. And so many people want me to have, or any health professional, any fitness professional, to have this like magic workout, this magic diet plan that we just go like, oh, hang on, just for you. We don't have that. And, you know, I heard this quote, and I don't know who said it, but it wasn't me, but it was brilliant, that success is boring. You know, so many people think that success is this hard thing, or, you know, you're going to have this, like, you know, magic epiphany, all this good stuff. That's not how success works. Success is the day in, the day out, the consistency. And the challenge is to get to that consistency piece. And, you know, one of the ways that I like to think about it is like, how do you change your mindset so that you break out of this thinking that, you know, you have to do this list of things in order for you to be eligible to have success. Or if you're not, you know, eating Tic Tacs and Diet Coke, you can't be successful. So Jim Rohn, he's he was, you know, pretty much, I want to say like the godfather of like personal development. Like he was a person who, you know, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, they all, you know, flocked to his seminars. You know, before the internet and all this stuff, you literally had to sit in a room and hear a guy talk, and then buy the cassette tapes, and then it went to CDs. And so he said, you become what you think most. So you become what you think most. So what does that mean? You know, Michael Dooley says, thoughts become things. And so, and someone else says, what you think about, you bring about. So up here is like a computer. And we have the power to think about anything we want. And there's some ridiculous amount of thoughts that are literally going on in your brain on any given time. Like you could be sitting here totally quiet, but your mind is like, and for those of us who go to bed sometimes, our brain seems to like flip the switch as soon as you lay your head down on the pillow, and it's just like a hamster on a wheel with thought after thought after thought after thought after thought after thought. So what I want you to think about is that if you think about things, you can bring them about. Now, it's not magic. Like, I don't want you to think it's not magic. It's not this hocus pocus thing. It's literally either you think things are positive or you think things are negative. That's how I break it down, to make it the simplest thing. And so, you know, thoughts are just energy. It's just fluid energy, you thinking about something. And how I break it down is that we have those friends who we love to be around. They are fun, they're funny, they just make you feel good. That's energy. That's the energy I'm talking about. You know, they're just like, just contagious. Like, you can't be in a bad mood when you're around Sally. Like, that's why you call Sally. When you're in a bad mood, you're like, I need to be around Sally because she makes me feel good. That's energy. Then we have these friends who are like Eeyore. If you ever watched Winnie the Pooh or read Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore was his donkey friend who everything, the sky was falling in, you know, there was always a cloud over him. Everything was always crap. And we have those friends. We have those friends who, no matter when you call them, they could have just won the lottery, and they can totally like take your mood from here to here in like 2.2 seconds. We all have those. And that's what I'm talking about. When you are in that like your state, nothing ever feels good. And so the thought of getting healthier, losing weight, getting a new job, improving your relationships, whatever, it all feels like it's never going to happen for me. And that's where that's where the thoughts become things. Because if you keep saying, you know, life is always going to kick me in the stomach, well, guess what? Life is always going to kick you in the stomach because you're looking for it. And the best way I was like introduced to this, and it was just like blew my mind, because I can't say that I was Eeyore, but I can't say that I was like this Pollyanna, like, oh, life is awesome and everything's gonna come up roses. I can't say I was that girl. But what I can say is that I was willing to be open to that, because I knew that there were a lot of things that I wanted, and I saw how so many people who changed their mindset, how they were having success. And, you know, as they say, if you figure out what you want and find someone who has it and do what they did. And so I saw several people who have what I want. And, you know, when you read what they've done or you ask them, they'll tell you, and a lot of it is mindset work. And so over the last, I'd say 3 years, I've been really focused on doing a lot of mindset work. Is it sexy? Is it glamorous? Oh no. But am I seeing the rewards of taking that step? Yeah, totally. And I know that a lot of people are like, click, and you just turn me off, and that's totally fine. But for those of you who are like, you know what, I do want better, especially at this time of year. You know, we're knocking on December. We got, you know, at that point we have less than 30 days left in 2017. Now, I've already heard people be like, 2017 is over. I'm focused on 2018. And I'm going to be like, you know what, I'm going to challenge you for 30 days to focus on changing your mindset. Focus on taking the steps needed to change that mindset, because you have nothing to lose. You know, I look at one of my good friends, Jade. She refers to people are plotty. She's English. They have some great expressions. Plotty, I want you to think about, you're in the ocean and you're just bobbing. Waves are coming and you're just bobbing in the waves. And you see something like, oh, I can go over there. But you're like, but it's so, I got this, the water's warm, I'm just nice, it's good, it's awesome. And you just kind of plod along. You just let the waves of life take you from here to there to everywhere. And every once in a while you think about something else you want to do or someplace else you want to be, but you know, you're like, I'm just going to go with the waves. I'm just going to keep going. Or I'm going to complain the waves are like coming fast and furious. Or I'm going to complain that the water's getting cold, but I'm not going to do Bo Jackson about it. So that's where I want you to say, do you want to get out of that cycle? Because you can't. And it's about changing your mindset and changing the energy. And so one of the easiest, simplest ways to do it is start to become a positive thinker. And one of the beauties about positive thinking is that it better helps you manage stress. Like, who isn't stressed out? You know, who doesn't have those periods of stress in their life? And one of my biggest challenges is when I hear people say, I'm stressed out, that's just how life is. No, it's not how life is. There are periods of time of stress, absolutely. But stress should not be something that happens to you 365 days a year. It's just not how it should be. Our bodies were not programmed for that. Our bodies were programmed for stress to be, we're running from a saber-toothed tiger. That's what our bodies are programmed for. Not, I'm stressed about money. I'm stressed about getting a new relationship, getting a new job. I'm stressed about losing weight. I'm stressed about my kids getting into whatever school that they want to get into. Those are the stresses that we have. Those are modern day stresses, but those are stresses that should happen to you 365, 24/7. Because when I'm stressed out and I'm trying to lose weight, cortisol comes through. And cortisol is a hormone that tells your body, fight or flight. We're either going to stay here and fight the saber-toothed tiger, or we're going to sprint the heck out of here and get away from the saber-toothed tiger. And when your body's like, wait, hang on, there's no saber-toothed tiger, the cortisol has no place to go because it didn't use it. You didn't use that energy, so your body restores it. But it doesn't want to really store it too deeply, because it's like, well, what if it was just around the corner? And that way I could easily tap in and access it. So when you are in that stress mode, you might notice that you might have a little extra belly fat. And that belly fat could be simply reduced just by managing your stress. And if you have a more positive outlook on your life, maybe you won't have as many periods of stress. Well, also when you're stressed out, you don't sleep that well. And when you don't sleep that well, you don't eat that well, you're most likely to get sick. And who likes to be sick? Because I know back in the day when I was in corporate, I was a stress ball. And I was sick all the damn time. Like I lived in CVS in the cold aisle. I could tell you pretty much what the pharmacist could tell you. Oh, you got that symptom? Oh, this works really good. That doesn't really good. Oh, that. And why should I know that much stuff? Because I did not take care of myself. I ran myself into the ground. I was stressed out and I was tired. And I tell a lot of my people, I'm like, if you can manage your stress and you can sleep, that's the fastest diet plan I know of anything. And the other thing with your positive attitude is that it makes you look at the world in a wide lens. You know, when we're stressed out, we have tunnel vision and we can't see the trees for the forest. We're just like everything is like doom and gloom and horrible. But when you kind of take that positive view of like, okay, what's the good in this? You know, how do you flip this around and turn it around into, yeah, it might be crappy in the moment. And I'm not saying that we all don't have crappy things that happen in our lives. We do. But then how do you change it around that it's not like, oh, this is just how it is, and I'm just going to march along. And so that's what I mean by thoughts become things, because we can always say to ourselves, every single time I plan to do something outside it rains, or every time I need gas, there's never a gas station. Well, you know what? You're never going to find a gas station. Or you can keep telling yourself you're this, dumb person who could never write. And then, so that's why you can't ever be an author. Or you're someone who's unlovable and that's why you'll never find love. And if you keep saying that to yourself, it's self-soothing. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're never going to find love. You're never going to become the author that you dream of becoming. Because I think about some of the things I told myself. Like, I've always been into fitness for years. Always loved it. It was always my thing. And I told myself I didn't want to become a gym teacher. I told myself, oh, I have a good job. I don't need to go work in the gym. And I was denying myself of what made me happy. And I was being that person who just stuck their head in the ground. But then when I kind of took a step back and I was able to see, what are the other things I could do besides be a gym teacher? What are the other things I could do besides be a personal trainer? And it's like flipping the script, because you ask yourself, what do I need to do right now to make this work? And if you've followed me, watched this show, seen anything I've ever done, I always talk about boiling down to one thing. If we take one simple step and we're successful at it, we will be more likely to take another step. And then when we take that other step, and then another step, and then another step, guess what? That's how success looks like. Success isn't this rocket ship to the top. Success is step by step by step by step. And that's how you build consistency. I start with things that I know I can do. So when I was becoming a personal trainer, it started with, okay, I'm going to get a part-time job at the gym to see if I like it. I was there 4 hours a week. And I was like, okay, I like it. Started to become friends with the trainers. And then it was like, okay, let me see, what do they do in a day by day? So one day I took a day off from work and I shadowed a trainer. And I was like, all right, let me see what they do. And I was like, okay, that doesn't seem like a horrible thing. Then I was like, okay, now it's the time for me to take the test. So I set up a date and I was like, okay, I'm going to take the test 6 months from now. Give myself time to study all the material. Studied, took the test. And then, I was like, well, you just can't just jump in and, replace your income immediately. So I was like, okay, I'm going to bookend. So, I was training in the morning, I was training at lunch, I was training at night, and just being able to bookend. So I was taking steps to eventually get to where I am. But see, all my steps, it took me 10 years to be able to say, I work completely for myself, and that's how I like it. Now, some of you, will look at that and go, 10 years? Ugh. Well, what would you do with those 10 years? You work for your current employer. How long have you worked there? What's the next step for you? And would you stay there 10 years? Because it took me 10 years from the time I said, okay, let me see how this is, to when I started working for myself. And I've been working for myself for 7 years, and I'm able to pay my bills. And it was those slow, methodical steps that got me here. There was no leapfrog. And it was all my mindset. So now, now here I am at year 7. For me to take it to the next 7 years, I had to change my mindset. I had to, reframe my reference points in order to get to where I wanted to be. And that can all happen with weight, relationships, finances, all of it can happen. And one of the ways I was able to do that was to really focus on visualization. So the best way, let's just rewind that. It was visualizing. So before you can visualize, you have to have a picture that's so crystal clear of where you want to go. If there's any, fuzz on the screen, you're sending out the wrong energy. You're not able to see the opportunities as they come up to you. So the best way I can describe it is, have you ever gone on vacation and you've never been to Jamaica before, but from everyone you've heard, Jamaica's awesome. And then you've heard of people, they are staying at some XYZ resort, and you've heard all these wonderful things about it. So in your head, you start to think about the sand, the clear water, the palm trees. You think about the swim-up bar at the pool. So all of a sudden, you're building this visual of going on vacation to Jamaica. And so so that's your goal, right? So your goal is to go on vacation to Jamaica. So it's crystal clear. I'm going to Jamaica. I'm going to Jamaica I want to go to Jamaica in February. I am going, you see, you might not know exactly where you're going to stay, but you see that, you want a swim-up bar. You see that you want to have like a hammock on the beach. You see that you want to have someone who's there just, catering to your every whim. This is all you see in your brain. And so you're like, yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. And so now you're like, okay, in order to get there, I need a plan. And my plan should be, and then you start kind of formulating what the plan should be. But you visualize, and you're like, this is where I want to be. And like you feel it in your body. Like you hear the waves, you hear the music, and you just see yourself in that scenario. So that is visualization. So that's one of the things I always tell people, like, sit down. Like, it's not like this 5-minute thing, right? Sit down and like feel it in your core. Like, this is what I want. This is what I want. Because if you aren't like crystal clear and you're kind of wishy-washy, you gotta get wishy-washy results. And I can't stress that enough. Because if you've ever told me, oh, I got wishy-washy results, I'm like, you know what? Because you set wishy-washy goals. That's why you're wishy-washy. Now, I challenge you to sit down. Take the time, get quiet. Turn off the TV, turn off the music, just be quiet and sit. And one of the ways that I sit is I journal. And in my journal, I'll ask a question like, what do I need to know? What should I be doing now? And I just sit there. And I just kind of let my subconscious start to react. I don't sit there and be like, I must come up with something to say. I must come, because that stopped me for a long time journaling. I was like, I'm not like one of these people who can, dear diary. But it's surprising when you ask that question and you get quiet, some of the stuff that pops up. And then you read it and you're like, wow, I didn't know I wanted that. And then you're like, do I really want that? And so it kind of starts this whole chain of questions as you go through and you're journaling. Some people use meditation as a way to like kind of tap into their subconscious of like, what do they really want? But this is all about getting clear on what you want. So then you can start that whole intention setting, that whole goal setting, because like I said, when you're able to be super honest with what you want, like there's just something in your body just that fires in all cylinders, that is on, like, scanning the horizon for any opportunity that could get you to the next step, that could get you to the next step, and that can get you to the next step. And as I'm doing this, you're literally writing down specifically. It's like, I'm going to Jamaica on February 2019, and I'm going to stay in a 5-star luxury resort. I'm going to have a king size bed where every day they bring rose petals on the bed. That level of detail when you're writing it out. You could also write that on my 40th birthday, I'm going to be going to Hawaii, and I will have a flat stomach. I will have lost all the baby weight, like whatever. And you're just like being so freaking specific that you're like, yes, that's what I want. Bring it to me. Bring it to me. And then you start putting out this great energy. And when you put out that great energy, you start looking for these opportunities to come your way. And one of the things that I remember when I first heard this, I was like, I have a good friend, and she's very into like mindset stuff. She's very into like manifesting stuff. And one of the things she used to do was would put Post-it notes in just various spots in her house. And so, let's stick with the example of Jamaica. So she would put Jamaica, and she would put it in like her kitchen cupboard, and she would see it, and it could be in your kitchen cupboard where like you keep your snacks. So maybe you want to wear that bikini on vacation, so you see Jamaica and you're like, ooh, and you think about like what you want to look like on the beach, so you shut the cabinet. She would put it in her car. She would just put it in these random places so that it was just always a reminder, but not in a like make you feel like a failure kind of way, but just in a reminder like, hey, this is where we're going, this is where we're going, so all roads lead there. And it did, it was in the 80s that they looked at Harvard Business School graduates, and they looked at the class that had graduated, and they said, how many of you have written down your goals? And they said, we challenge you to write down your goals. So they did it. Well, only 3% did it. Only 3% physically wrote down their goals. And of the 3% who physically wrote down their goals on paper, and when they were asked to look at them, the people who physically wrote down their goals achieved them all, and like just literally blew them out of the water. So when you put pen to paper, there's just something that just triggers that brain to just keep working, keep going. So I challenge you to think about these kind of things. I challenge you to change your mindset and think of what's possible for you. I challenge you to say, can I visualize where I want to go to the level of detail that if I was going on vacation? Because that level of visualization can be for anything. You could say, this is what I want in a relationship. This is what I want in my next job. And just literally map it out. Because when you are clear with what you want, you're able to see that opportunity. You're able to start to direct yourself towards those things that could give you what you're looking for. So that is all I have for you tonight. But I will be back on December 12th. And I will be talking about dealing with stress and overwhelm. And I know at this time of year, it's really easy to be stressed out and overwhelmed with the end of the year, the holidays, so much stuff could be happening for you during the month of December. And I want to help you get that underway before we hop into 2018. Because that way you can start with 2018 with some tips, tricks, hacks, strategies so that you can better manage your stress. But you can, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, you can find me on my website. That's fabfitsquad.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Kim Jefferson Coach. You can also find me on Facebook at Kim Barnes Jefferson. And I look forward to chatting with you guys again. I know this is a lot to take in, but it's really about, can you shift, that mindset. And some of you are probably like I was. I was not a negative Nancy. I was kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But I will tell you that as soon as I really kind of took the time to focus on what I wanted, I took the time to say, you know, in like excruciating detail what I wanted to bring into my life. Moly, moly, moly. Things started to really happen and things started to shift for me. And I think it was really just, you know, I want to leave you with a book that was really helpful for this. Her name is Pam Grout. I think it's spelled Grout. And she has a book called E Squared. And in it, it really talks about a lot about like mindset and just really, you know, the power of visualization. It was a life-changing book for me, and I hope it's a life-changing book for you. But that is, again, that's all I have. So thank you guys so much. And I will chat with you again on December 12th. And we'll be talking about how you beat stress and overwhelm. Have a fabulous evening.